Well, that's an interesting question. I created a background for Peter. He's was a ne'er-do-well as a kid, ended up in the Army, in Iraq and Afghanistan both, and learned his trade in the Army, which is photography. He's now out of the Army, trying to make a living as a commercial photographer in a little mine town tucked away in Colorado. And he's just getting by. And I think because of his youth and the time he was in the Army, he's finally learned to accept some responsibility. He wants to make things work. He recognizes that he can't be the kind of person who just doesn't pay a bill or whatever. I mean, he's fully faced reality. His roommate, who was his childhood friend, who never got around to that realization, he's still a spoiled brat. And the two live together. It's not a real comfortable situation because Peter's always on Matt's case to pay the rent. And what I tried to do, the difference between youth and age is experience. You know, there really isn't that much difference otherwise. And so I just didn't give Peter a lot of experience. I didn't give him a lot of references or, well, you know, when I was working in this job, I learned this, or I learned this lesson doing that. He had yet to learn those lessons. I just took all that experience away from him. But otherwise, I didn't try to dumb him down or smarten him up or anything like that. I mean, every book that an author writes is an autobiography in some way. And so I identified pretty closely with Peter. You know, I like my character. I like Peter. I like that he cares about other people, that he's responsible, that he tries to see things through to the end. That's what I really like about Peter. He's loyal. He gets hooked up with this elf, and he's very loyal to the elf, to the point where he will actually go into battle with the elf to try to get the elf where the elf needs to be. Peter believes passionately in the elf's cause. And, you know, I get very passionate about subjects too. And this other character, Matt, is a little bit of a foil for this because he's he's a spoiled kid. You know, he's in his 20s acting like he's 12 or maybe 2. You know, he doesn't understand that when he comes into this new world, humans are the freaks, not the dwarves. You know, the elves are not the freaks, it's the humans who are the freaks. He has a real hard time with that concept, and so he's trying to talk about the dwarves as animals and, you know, this kind of thing. Of course, they don't really like being called that, so in exchange for his hostility, he gets their hostility, and, you know, Matt's always in trouble. It's a nice foil for Peter.